Hello students, welcome to GradeUp, India's largest live learning platform. सही prep है तो life set है. Good morning all of you. So in this operating system capsule 3, we are going to talk about SRTF CPU scheduling algorithm. That is shortest remaining time first CPU scheduling algorithm. So before starting, let me introduce myself. My name is Anshul Sharma. I have 1+ years of teaching experience and mentoring GATE CS aspirants. In GATE 2020, I have secured All India Rank 294. I have also qualified ISRO and NILET exam. My area of expertise is operating system, digital logic, compiler design, DBMS, discrete mathematics, and computer networks. So those who want to prepare for GATE 2022 or 2023, so they can subscribe to GradeUp Super for Vision 2022 English batch, for Vision 2022 Hindi batch, for Vision 2023 Hindi or English batch. So in these batches, you are going to get 850 plus hours of live classes, 8000 plus practice questions, 100 plus mock test, and 120 plus chapter wise study notes. So subscribe to GradeUp Super, and for more information, you can contact on this number, that is 96500 52904. And GradeUp is providing you flat 50% off on GradeUp Super subscription. So you can unlock success with GradeUp. So you can use this code, right? You can apply this coupon code and you will be getting flat 50% off on GradeUp Super subscription. And the code is unlock50. Okay. You can connect with me on Telegram as well. So this is my link. This is the link of my Telegram group. That is Anshul_Sharma_CS. So you can join this group, right? And you will be getting all the PDFs related to all YouTube classes, doubt clearances, as well as guidance related to GATE preparation and other computer science exams. So let's start. Shortest remaining time first CPU scheduling algorithm, right? So the criteria, so in the previous capsule we have seen shortest job first, that was non-preemptive, right? But the shortest remaining time first CPU scheduling algorithm is preemptive in mode. So you can say the mode of this algorithm is preemptive. That means you can preempt the process in between as well, right? And the criteria is, again, it is based on burst time. So this is also based on burst time. So if any algorithm is based on burst time, then that algorithm is not practically implementable. You can approximate the value of burst time, but yes, you don't know the exact value of the burst time for each of the processes. Clear? So let's understand the shortest remaining time first CPU scheduling algorithm through an example. Suppose here we have 6 processes. Suppose this is P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6. So we have total 6 processes. Arrival time is given to us, burst time is given to us for all these processes. We have to find out the completion time, the turnaround time, waiting time and response time. Okay, so let's schedule these processes. So at 0 units of time, you can see P1 process has arrived in the ready queue. As it is shortest remaining time first, so we can preempt in between as well. So let's schedule P1 process first and let's schedule it for only 1 unit of time. So that we have to check whether other processes have arrived in the ready queue or not at 1 unit of time. So if I schedule it for 1 unit of time, I can make it 6. Clear? Now at 1 units of time, P2 process has also arrived in the ready queue. Now we have to compare the burst time of P1 and P2, and whichever process is going to have the lesser burst time, we are going to schedule that now. So P2 is having less burst time, so we can schedule P2 process now. For 1 unit of time, we are going to schedule because we are going to wait for other processes as well. So let's schedule it for 1 unit of time. Now at 2 units of time, P3 process has also arrived in the ready queue. Now if you compare the burst time of the top 3 processes, P3 is having the lesser burst time. So we are going to schedule that now for 1 unit of time. And now I can make it 2. At 3 units of time, P4 process has also arrived and that is having the lesser burst time as of now. So we can schedule P4 process for 1 unit of time. So 3 plus 1, it is 4. We can make it 0 and P4 has completed its execution. Clear? Now at 4 units of time, P5 process has also arrived in the ready queue. Right now we have to compare the burst time of P1, P2, P3 and P5. So if you compare, you will find it out that the burst time of P3 and P5 process is same, 2 and 2. So we are going to give the preference or the priority to the process which is having lower process number. That means P3 here. So we are going to schedule P3 process for 1 unit of time. So 4 plus 1 it will be 5. Here I can make it 1. Clear? Now at 5 units of time, P6 process has also arrived, right? And the burst time is 1. So now if you compare the burst time of all the processes, so you will find it out that P3 and P6 is having the same burst time, that is 1, right? So we are going to schedule P3 now because that is having the lower process number. So 5 plus 1 it will be 6, and here I can make it 0. P3 has completed its execution, right? Now at 6 units of time, so you can see all the processes have already arrived in the ready queue. No more processes is going to arrive now. Now you can directly compare the burst time, and you can schedule the processes till its completion because no other new process is going to arrive in the ready queue, right? So you can just compare the burst time. So it is 6 4 2 1. That means P6 is having the least burst time, so we are going to schedule it for 1 unit of time, and P6 has completed its execution. Here, now we have three processes only in the ready queue, that is P1, P2 and P5. If you compare the burst time, P5 is having the smaller burst time. You can schedule it till its completion now, right? 7 plus 2 it is going to be 9, and here I can make it 0. P5 has completed its execution. Now after that, P1, P2 are remaining. So if you compare the burst time, we can schedule P2 process. 9 plus 4 it will be 13. We can make it 0. P2 has completed its execution, and in the end we are going to schedule P1 process. 13 plus 6 it is going to be 19. We can make it 0, and P1 has completed its execution as well, right? Now using this chart we can write the completion time of each of the process. So in case of preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm, always try to scan from the right hand side to find out the completion time, right? Because when we are going to scan from the left hand side, we may commit silly mistake. So that is the best way. Scan from the right hand side. For P1 it is 19. That is the completion time of P1. For P2 it is 13. For P3 it is 6. For P4 it is 4. For P5 it is 9. And for P6 it is 7. Now we can find the turnaround time. Turnaround time is equal to completion time minus arrival time. So here we are going to get 19. 13 minus 1, that is going to be 12. 6 minus 2, it is going to be 4. 4 minus 3, it is 1. 9 minus 4, it is 5. 7 minus 5, it is going to be 2. We can find out the waiting time also. What is waiting time? That is equal to turnaround time minus initial burst time. So 19 minus 7, that is going to be 12 here. 12 minus 5, that is 7. 4 minus 3, it is 1. 1 minus 1, it is 0. 5 minus 2, it is 3. And 2 minus 1, it is 1. Clear? Now, in case of preemptive CPU scheduling algorithms, your waiting time will be, or you can say may be, different from the response time. But in case of non-preemptive, both are equal. So here we have to find out response time. We know what is response time. First time CPU allocation minus arrival time. That is your response time. Now for P1, first time CPU allocation happened at 0 units of time and the arrival time is 0. So 0 minus 0, it is going to be 0. For P2 it is 1, so 1 minus 1, it is 0. For P3 it is 2, so 2 minus 2, it is 0. For P4 it is 3, so 3 minus 3, it is 0. For P4, for P5, so P5 is here. At 7 units of time, we have allocated the CPU to P5 process. So 7 minus 4, it is going to be 3. Clear? Now for P6, so at 6 units of time, so 6 minus 5, it is going to be 1. So you can compare the waiting time and the response time. Both are different in this case. So we may get same as well in case of preemptive. We may or may not get same waiting time and response time in case of preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm. But in case of non-preemptive, they will be equal always. Right, so we have find out turnaround time, waiting time and response time. Now you can calculate average turnaround time. You can just add these values. You can find out average waiting time and you can also find out average response time. If we find out average turnaround time, so that will be equal to, this is 7, 7 plus 1 it is 8, 8 plus 4 it is 12, that is 24, 24 plus 19, that is going to be 43, right? And we can divide it by the number of processes, that is 6 here, so that will give you the average turnaround time. Similarly, you can find out the waiting time as well. So 3 plus 1 it is 4, 4 plus 1 it is 5, 5, 12, 12, 12 plus 12 that is 24 divided by 6. That will give you the average waiting time. And if we talk about the average response time, so that is going to be 3 plus 1 it is 4, 4 divided by 6. That is going to give you the average response time here in this case. So that is shortest remaining time first CPU scheduling algorithm. We can schedule the processes in this way, and as it is preemptive CPU scheduling algorithm. I hope you have understood it. So I will see you in the next class, and there we will be discussing other CPU scheduling algorithms as well. These are the star faculties we have at GradeUp for computer science, right? And in GATE 2021, we have 10 plus gradients under AI10 among all the streams. So that is a big achievement for GradeUp and its students. So all of you can subscribe to GradeUp Super to get unlimited access to structured live courses. Green card is also included in this, in which you are going to get 100 plus online mock test. Okay, designed by the toppers based on the latest exam pattern. For more information, you can contact on this number 96500529004. In structured life courses, you are going to get India's best faculty, complete doubt resolution, full syllabus coverage for your exam. You can also install GradeUp app and you can watch free app classes as well. You can attend free mock test as well, right? And you can, avail the best offer here. Okay. So install GradeUp app and start learning with GradeUp. Prepare for GATE 2022 and 2023. So thank you all for attending this class. I will see you in the next class. Till then, take care and bye-bye.